This is the future.
Okay guys, let me try to explain my next build, the one that I was using. So first of all, this is my next build. It's really nothing special, but just putting a lot of duration mod to somehow lessen the consumption of absorb, because we will be using this, pairing it with the assimilate augment to somehow uh, get the immortality while moving around. You can use the Venka Prime just like what I have did earlier in the video. So this Venka Prime is like a dual purpose for me. Like the spin attack of Venka Prime with the Vermilion stance allows you to have this movement while killing enemies. So it's basically a two-way advantage for me. You're moving with the spin attack, like you have decent movement with the speed attack, with the spin attack, and then you can also damage and even kill enemies. The best in slot in this build is probably condition overload. I'm using the Deriga to proc the multiple status at once. So before, I was just using the Hellstrom. Eventually, you can still use the Hellstrom on this combo, and it doesn't need to be Sweeper Prime. So I have Hellstrom in the past and I use it with the Death Cube Prime. With Death Cube Prime, I can have the Energy Generator, and I can also have the Synth Deconstruct and the Equilibrium combo, which happens to give you decent amount of energy economy without the use of expensive arcanes like Arcane Energize. It so happens that I think Deriga has a little edge when it comes to proccing status, since it has this arc coil preset that allows you to sap 7 enemies within 10 meters. The only problem with this is that it got only 10 meters range, so it's very small. That is why I specifically tailored this build for melee builds. It really works great with melee builds since you will be close to your enemies all the time. You don't really need some survivability mods on this Deriga, since Nyx, the absorb ability of Nyx paired with the assimilate augment will allow your companion to be also immortal as long as you have energy. You can use the Hellstrom for this build and build it for any status chance. Probably you can build it for like viral most of the time. Sweeper Prime is a melee, by the way. It's a melee weapon, and I have tried this. Because I was hoping that with this melee sentinel weapon, I could somehow use the other band mods that increases the critical chance to somehow increase the critical chance of my Venka Prime. So this tenacious band mod does give you 1.2 times final critical damage multiplier. So if I add this 1.2 times critical damage multiplier to my Venka Prime, that is around 7.7 critical multiplier. So the best way to get that 1.2 from Tenacious Bando is using a Beast Companion and then using the Bite mod to increase the critical chance of your weapon with the help of the Tenacious Band. I was hoping I can use the Tenacious Band. It so happens that the critical chance is really low, and even trying to increase it with these mods doesn't help since it's only 15%, and Tenacious Bond requires you to have at least over 50% critical chance. But eventually, I think it's also good that I have tried it, since this Sweeper Prime also works as the Hellstrom for me. Like, it can also proc the status when paired with Arc Coil, the Arc Coil from Deriga. It also pairs well because it can proc multiple status very well. Another good thing about this build is that it so happens to have defense strip with psychic bolts. So just adding the Umbral Intensify will give you 100% defense reduction. Another thing that I should add on this is the Manifold Bun. This works well with the composites. This is a companion preset mod that mod applies status effects from companions' weapons. Killing enemies with 3 or more unique status effects reduces companions' ability cooldown by 3 seconds. So if you have this, then it so happens that you reduce the precept of Arc Coil, and you can actually make good use of this since it can proc in a mission. Like, the tendency of the Diriga to use this Arc Coil will be more when you have the Manifold Bun mod. So the combo works like Nyx will be the one who will be assigned, I guess, for survivability, and then Deriga will be the one which will help you increase your damage, your condition overload damage. After that, the Venka Prime will be used as your primary weapon to kill enemies, and as well as good for movement. And this is really good for a melee build since we have the Lycat's Hunt. The Lycat's Hunt probably gives you health orbs per melee kill. So if you have this, then you can take advantage of the equilibrium mod and on getting your energy economy to top shape. So this build, I have taken this build to level 800 plus on steel pot levels. So I think it's decent enough, and probably many will just stay for 40 minutes or an hour or even 3 hours maybe, or 2 hours on steel pot levels just to farm stuff and just have fun. So this build will make you strong, immortal, have decent kill speed, and I think if you really enjoy Nyx, then you should try this build also.